On.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining the Three Beer Men. And tonight with a special guest. I'm Norm. We got Cosmic Grandpa, and why don't you introduce yourself to everybody in the chat?
Joey Mormon. Joey Mormon here.
Yeah, and we have Joey Mormon as an honorary beer man.
Yes.
So, and I'd like to shout out to Val Kimber, thank you for showing up. And Gary Flesher's in the house. Christian 33, Willie Fix It. I see a lot of familiar faces. Vicky Holyfield. Wow, there's so many familiar faces here. So I think you all pretty much know who we are. So why don't we get around to introducing our beers?
Okay.
And I guess I'll go first. I'm drinking, this is an old favorite of mine. It's called Racer 5, but I'm drinking in a special glass, my Game of Thrones glass, because I'm just happen to be wearing my Game of Thrones shirt tonight. So
nice.
It's a nice IPA from California by Bear Republic. It's a 7.5 ABV. So it's usually what I drink. It's usually what's in my fridge. So, Joey, what are you drinking?
Well, I think we should read all the copy off the can. This is Mayflower IPA, 6.1% alcohol by volume, and I guess they've done us all a service by not writing stupid copy all over it. It's just an India Pale Ale, craft brewed and canned in Plymouth, Massachusetts, not far from where Plymouth Rock discovered electricity.
So that's a local one to you, because I don't think I can get that one in California.
No, I don't think so. It's so local that it's got a sticker on it.
Yeah, can you get the Racer 5 in Massachusetts? I'm not.
Who brews it?
Bear Republic.
Santa
Rosa, California.
There's a lot of crazy beer places, so I mean, if it's not at normal beer places, it's definitely available somewhere. But I think I've seen it before, or maybe I've just seen you drinking it before. I'm not sure.
It's probably me. Grandpa, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, in honor of the fact that we're taking a cave tour, and caves are all about long-aged beers, I'm drinking a St. Nick Bock Brewers Reserve, which is the age for about 6 months in our brewery. So it's the longest aged beer that we have, which is why I'm having it tonight.
Excellent.
Okay.
Aging
I can attest to the fact that is a wonderful beer. If that's the one I had, I'm pretty sure. It's a very good beer.
It is, sir.
I think I have had that one in the past. And I see people in the chat. Mr. Anderson's drinking would you say you're drinking a New Belgium Fat Tire? It's a good brown ale. What are people drinking in the chat here? If you're not drinking, that's okay. But just see, Willie Fix It has a lot of these. A lot of people have these cheers emojis. So we'll go over to the YouTube and cheers, everybody.
Thanks for Val Kimber to the great contribution. That was a great call. Fantastic call. First time caller last night. Yesterday afternoon. I
think I had to tell you who it was because you didn't know.
Yeah, well, because I'm sure he said who it was at the very beginning, but by the time the conversation was over, I don't have a filing cabinet for names. I have to write. It's like I have to chisel them very slowly into my brain. I have to say a person's name about 10 times, or ask what somebody's name is 10 times before I'll actually start remembering. And that's no offense. That's how everybody is, or just how I am.
At some point in the future, we're going to have the ability for everybody to call in. We're just still working on it, and we can't wait to talk to everybody, each and every one of you. But give us some time because we're still working out all this stuff. So, yeah.
It's true. It's more tricky than you would think. You would think you could just plug a camera into a computer and then that would be it. But it's so much more difficult. It's not difficult. There's just a lot to it. It's almost as if the technology, nobody expected this thing to be so big, so they didn't make it easy.
Yeah, I'm just glad that we can have you on the show tonight, Joey, because that was you are pretty technically our first guest, I think. Yeah, you
Oh,
are
wow.
the first honorary beerman. So
Well, I had to fill in.
Yeah, but
we appreciate it. We really appreciate it, Joey.
Oh yeah, no problem. No problem.
And I'm glad that we're going to be able to talk about the spelunking for beer with you, because I like your intellect. I'm sure you have a lot to input on this show. So.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So, all right. So, you want to get to the show here?
Maybe we should all shotgun the first beer and then.
See, that's one thing I talk about on the show. I enjoy my beer. I think shotgunning it to get to the effect is not. I think it's good.
It's purely self-punishment. It's purely a form of self-abuse. But it might be entertaining. Like those are the kind of antics we might have to do to get sponsors.
Yeah, well, if it's a bad beer, I'll shotgun it. But if it's a good, nice, flavorful beer, I will enjoy it.
Yeah. Maybe we should come up with a way to shotgun a glass bottle without drinking glass, without drinking broken glass.
Yeah, I had a friend that tried that in high school once. It wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, it was a bad idea, but I bet it would go viral if you did it right. But then again, no, you have, what's his name? David Blaine, who eats glass, and he eats glass so much that his teeth are all worn out. Like he'll take like as a party trick, he'll like take a bite out of a champagne glass and just chew on it. Yeah, a lot of what he does is not magic; it's just geekery and endurance.
Yeah, well, that's how come he's popular, because it's kind of like a train wreck. You're like,
he'll do absolutely anything for attention. Yeah,
kind of just waiting for him to mess up some.
Yeah, well, that will be his magnum opus when he messes it up, and then he'll be remembered for that for the rest of his life. And like Houdini when he was magically punched in the stomach.
Yeah, and it reminds me of a joke. What's the famous last word of a redneck?
What?
Hey, y'all, watch this.
Ha!
What's the famous last word of his friend? I can do that.
Check this out.
Okay, so Cosmic Grandpa, why don't we get to the Spelunking tour?
Yeah, I was going to say, on that note, look at what crazy Shiite we did. But let me start by introducing everybody who's not familiar to Penn Brewery, located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I happen to be one of the owners, which is why I tend to feature Penn Brewery beers. But not necessarily because I'm trying to advertise, mainly because I get all the beer I want for free.
Wow.
That's my incentive.
So if you want all the beer you want for free, own a brewery.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so this is Penn Brewery. This is brewery's been around since 1986. It was one of the first microbreweries in Pennsylvania. It was the first tied house in Pennsylvania, which is the first place where you could actually drink beer at the brewery. Prior to that, because of the crazy screwed up laws in Pennsylvania, you could not drink beer at the place it was brewed. You had to drink it at a separate establishment. And there were 3 tiers. The brewery couldn't even deliver directly to the bars. There had to be a distribution layer. Anyway, Penn Brewery's got a lot of history that we'll go through on future shows. But meanwhile, especially for most of you, I would say Penn Brewery is probably best known as one of the stops on Zoso Dude's Grand USA tour last fall.
Wow.
What did he think?
I don't remember him telling me about that. What do you think?
He was pretty impressed. I will do a full tour of the rest of the brewery at some point in time in the future. But what I just switched to is a view of the outdoor beer garden, which is part of the brewery, a small part of the brewery. And up in the middle of the upper part of the screen, and I haven't figured out yet in OBS how to get the mouse to show up when I do this. So, Joey, I'll hit you up for some lessons sometime. You make it look really easy.
Lessons.
But anyway,
yeah. Oh, sure.
How to do things like yeah. But anyway, in the upper middle of the upper part of the screen, you can see a black cinder block area in the middle of all of the nice.
It looks like a bricked
That's
off.
actually a.
Go ahead.
You're just about to say it.
Oh,
it's a bricked off cave entrance.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's been bricked off. It had been bricked off for at least 50 years.
Wow.
At the time that we bought the brewery. Oh, this is another picture of the beer garden. And I happened to bring this one up only because on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see another cave opening. That's kind of a false opening. It only goes back about 15 feet, and then it's bricked up 15 feet back. So it's kind of a convenient little storage area and a nice little fake cave to show off. But that brick wall right there happens to be the brick wall that was behind me when Zoso shot the footage that ended up on Craig's bumper.
Okay.
Where I said, Cosmac Grandpa, that wall was the backdrop for that video right there. And unfortunately, Josh or Abe, whoever did that video, cut out the best part, I thought anyway, which is where I picked up a mug about this size and took a big drink out of it and then held it up and said, reasonable.
Yes.
I thought for sure that was going to make it, but somehow it hit the cutting room floor.
Yeah. I get it. It's such a reasonable sized vessel. Yeah. This looks very Deutsch. Yeah. Oh, and then okay. So why are the bricks dark? Is it because there was a fireplace there, or is it because it's just natural like mineral deposits and bacteria and
it was. I think it was just some previous owner's brilliant idea to try and make the caves. I think it's a Roadrunner thing. They painted the cinder block black.
Okay.
That it would look, it was a big opening, but it never really looked like an opening.
But only the Roadrunner can run through it. And the Coyote would just splat into it. You ever get anybody walking into it really drunk?
Yeah, probably. Happened more than once. So this was a picture from back in 2012 when we got the brilliant idea. Oh, Joey's looking at it now. Yeah, he's got Google Earth.
Spying from a satellite up here. Look at this.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You got to watch out. Joey has all that technology that you can spy on.
Yeah. I can see whose cars are there. I can see who's working and who isn't. And for some reason, it's sunny there right now. I don't know how that's possible.
Can you see who's naughty and who's nice?
Oh, damn it. It's gone now.
That's because Cosmic Grandpa is drinking St. Nick's beer.
Right. Yes, I get it. I totally get it. I don't know why I can't rotate, though. That's a bummer. But anyway, I thought I'd zoom in there. Is this the beer garden back here? Look.
No, other side. If you look at what's up on my screen, zoom. Yeah, right.
Oh, yes.
Where you're at. There it is.
Yes. Yep. Very cool. Very cool.
Oh, and that has the Battlestar triangular tent up. That's got to be from within the last couple of years.
Yeah, that is cool. Well, since I can't rotate because I don't know how, I'll just leave it there. But that was fun.
So that's where we're at. I mean, you just hit it right there. And so back in 2012, we got the brilliant idea. We had some brick guys in fixing up the walls. You can see the brick in the walls, the stone in the wall around the cave entrance is pretty loose and was starting to fall out.
So looks like it's just stacked. It looks like it's like not even mortared. It looks like it's just stacked up,
That's correct. It was still living that way from the late 1800s.
Wow.
So we had a you come in and properly point it so that it would stay together. And while they were here, we said, well, hey, would you guys mind helping us open up a little crawl hole just so we could kind of dive in, we could look inside and see what's in there.
Yeah.
And first looked in, this is what we saw. And we'll probably have to adjust your eyes to be able to see that image because it won't be easy to see.
Are these like water pump pipes? Are they pumping water?
Everybody out there.
Because these aren't hand railings. These must be for pumping water or something.
Beer.
Pumping beer. That's crazy.
Yes.
Wow.
They were for moving beer around. And you could barely see that it's quite a mess in here. But if I move forward, you can see what the camera was able to see with the flash turned on. So when I took the flash, and you can see the caves are just completely littered with debris on the floors. The old pipes that used to pump the beer around between the different barrels are all kind of falling down and crumbling. And it was a ruins and an intimidating one because, again, this is all we could see with our naked eyes or flashlights when we were trying to crawl through this. So, imagine trying to climb through this in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like fun, especially since what the heck just happened. Oh, there we go. Yeah. It sounds. Well, I mean, you have flashlights, right? Or were you just using your phones? Got to get a real flashlight.
We had real flashlights. Yeah. We weren't quite that dumb.
Did you hear any spooky stuff happen?
I have a great story to tell you. Just
boy. Yeah, I don't want to rush you.
There's some good stuff. Yeah,
I don't want to rush you.
So we saw something off in the distance that you might just be able to barely make out if you're looking there. That looked like a barrel. What it looked like?
Yeah.
Off in the foggy distance there. So we went exploring, and lo and behold, we found a bunch of barrels, really big barrels, as you can see from that picture right there. And that ended up leading to the picture right here, of which I took. That's my partner, Stuart, actually, his standing in the front of the barrel, holding his arm up basically for scale, so that you can get an idea of how big the barrels are.
Yeah, you could live in there. You could like that could be an entire hobbit dwelling.
Yes, that barrel could just about do it. And that then subsequently led to that picture being published in this book, 200 Years of Brewing in Allegheny County. So I'm a published photographer.
Wow.
Cool.
I have exactly one picture in publication.
And I just want to say something for the chat for those that got here late. Bruce is not here tonight. Joey's filling in for him. And so Bruce had prior engagements, and that's why we have Joey here as an honorary beer man. And
this is Passover. This is Passover weekend. It's Seder.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
And I would like to say hi to Due Diligence, who's going to be on the show next week. He's in the chat. And hi to J Bell. Thank you for having us on the show last night. So on your show. And cheers. So we can carry on.
Yeah, if there's any other shout outs to the chat, please do. I can't see them. Like I said, Twitch is being bare on me tonight, so I can't actually see the Twitch chat.
There's somebody asking about Bruce, and I just realized that people were coming in late, so I just wanted to reiterate why Joey was here. So, well, not that he would have been here anyway because we would have had him on the show.
There would have been 4 beer men, absolutely.
Yeah.
So to answer your earlier question, you saw all the mist kind of floating around in some of those pictures, and sometimes we couldn't quite tell if the mist was really just floating or whether it was actually moving of its own accord.
Wow.
And up hearing some strange sounds. So on the way back out of the cave, we ended up going down one of the other forks, and way down far at the end, we ended up finding this guy sitting at a desk.
Whoa.
Waiting for waiting to answer the phone.
Is that are you kidding?
Okay, I was gonna say like maybe somebody left you a surprise. Like that's how they buried kings back in back in Pittsburgh.
Right, back in those days. Yeah, no. This guy introduced himself as Dave, as in Dave in the cave, and he said he was the building super, which I think Zoso would appreciate, for the previous owners who closed up during Prohibition, and he was just glad that somebody was down there to see that he was still keeping the underground going for us after all these years.
Wow, look at that.
And so that actually brings us forward 5 years later. What you're seeing now is the open archway. So that archway now is completely open, and you're seeing it from the inside. And I'm going to go ahead without further ado and start the actual video.
All right.
There's no audio. At least I hope you guys aren't getting any audio with it, because there's a bit of it that's somewhat embarrassing. This is where I went back into the caves in 2017 with my son and a University of Pittsburgh engineering student named Jordan, who was doing as her class project preservation of old artifacts, and in particular old artifacts that were wet, like Trojan ships, buried Viking ships found in the ground.
Oh yeah, I just did a segment on the I can't remember the name of the ship, but it was a Swedish ship. It's the most intact 1500 1600 ship. They raise it up and it has all the carvings still on it and all the cannons and stuff in it. And it's super well intact.
But the instant you expose it to air, it starts to deteriorate.
Yeah, I think they did a great job preserving it. They like dried it out really quick and shellacked it, so you can actually go inside. Like the decks are still there, and it's pretty wild. It's I wish I could remember the name of it, but yeah, it sank less than a mile from harbor because nobody was willing to tell the king that it wasn't going to sail. But anyway.
So yeah, this is. I paused the video for a second there. We're coming up to the first fork in the tunnels where you can go right or you can go left,
and that's how you get lost.
Yeah, exactly. And going left requires ducking under some sketchy stuff, like you just saw right there. We had to actually duck under some fallen pipes.
What are the pipes made of? Are they brass or copper or steel?
I believe they're iron. I believe they're all
iron. Iron makes sense. Wow.
Because that was the time. This cave would have been built, and what I'm showing right now, what I was probably just illustrating right there, was that you can see now that you're inside the all stone, the all natural part of the caves. So when we first came in, there were first 20 feet or so that were lined with brick. Then once we got past that first 20 feet or so, we were into all natural caves. It had been dug out using the technology that was available in the mid 1800s.
Wow.
Wow, that's fascinating. Wow.
And then this is when we got to the chamber where the barrels start.
So what were you saying about the person who studied wet old stuff?
Oh, yeah, Jordan, the girl in the yellow hard hat, she is an if this was in 2017, so that was 4 years ago now, was a engineering student who was studying preservation and how to potentially help us keep the barrels from deteriorating any further. Because as you can see from the pictures there, they've already deteriorated pretty badly.
Yeah.
The wood on those barrels is actually soft. You could push your finger right through that barrel.
Is it oak?
Yeah. It was
oak with iron
with iron bands. Yeah, that was a research project. You'll see coming up in some of the video, and I'm just going to let it play free flow. But if you see anything you want me to stop and and expose on, I'll be happy to.
Yeah, let me see if I can make Discord bigger.
Unfortunately, we're ahead of time, so if the chat sees anything, we won't be able to.
We won't be able to pause on.
Yeah.
Pausing on it's not really.
Am I the only one monitoring? Sorry, am I the only one monitoring D Live?
I'm glancing at it, but
okay. All right.
I'm actually fascinated by the video, so sorry if
me too.
If I don't participate in the chat.
Would they coat the inside of the pipes with wax or something so that they wouldn't rust on the inside?
That's a good question. Iron was considered to be pretty indestructible at the time. I think for the purpose of what they did.
So it gets a layer of oxidation on it, and then it doesn't get any worse, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. The Eiffel Tower's wrought iron, which is not everybody knows that.
Yeah, exactly. This is where Jordan was noticing, or Jordan just happened to notice, that each of the barrels actually has a big, giant metal bolt that goes right through the center of it from end cap to end cap horizontally. And she asked me what that was all about, and I explained that the volume of beer that was in those barrels, those had just been friction fit ends. Weight of the beer would have blown the ends of those barrels right out. Wow. Barrels would have been able to stay together if they didn't have a giant metal rod on right from one end of the barrel to the other, holding those two ends together tightly.
Interesting. Well, this would affect the flavor, I would think, especially if you're aging it for a long time. If you have a metal rod going through, because there's no other metal that would be touching the beer. It would mostly be oak. But if you have like a metal rod going through the barrel, don't you think that would, if you wanted something really, like if you wanted it to taste like the beer, then you might just throw a couple of rusty nails in there or something.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's quite possible.
Disinfected, of course. You wouldn't want to get tetanus or anything.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure if that can happen. Ordinary microorganisms that can hurt people can't live in beer. It's a fact. It's the reason why you can drink beer, even if it smells bad. It's going to be safer for you than the water.
Because it's just overrun with that yeast. I mean, yeah, we when we looked at the yeast the other day, it was very clearly it was a lot like the color you see is the yeast itself. It's just everywhere, and they're really close together.
That's because yeast, it farts CO2 and pees beer.
Yep.
And that's why it's yellow.
And the trees make wood out of CO2, and so and they plant themselves, which is a remarkable thing that a lot of people on the left don't understand, that trees have their own way of planting themselves, and they suck CO2 up like crazy.
Yeah,
what you're saying is beer is a self-sustaining resource. Is what you're
Absolutely.
saying?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
We are more closely related to beer yeast than we are to plants, because fungus is on the same family tree as humans, but plants and bacteria are on entirely different lines. And there's archaea, which is on a totally different line as well.
Well, I think fungus is some humans. I think I'm a fungi, but
yes, yes.
I'm not sure.
Let me jump in here just to explain what's going on. So
yeah,
if I can pop back just seconds in the video. So that's my son with a big orange extension cord. We got the brilliant idea that we're going to take the bright light that we have, the one that you see in the center of the picture right there,
and drop it in a puddle. No, go ahead.
You're predictive, Joey. You didn't see these videos yet, did you?
Yeah, I'm very cautious.
Yeah. So he's unbundling the orange extension cord that we're about to use to move that light closer in. We can go further down the caves, because right now that big bright light, which is the brightest light that we have, is at the end of its current extension cord. We just unplugged it. Now you're seeing what it really looks like in pure flashlight only, with no big lights supplementing. And in a few seconds here, he'll be plugging it back in.
Piles of human remains is what I'm seeing. No, I'm just kidding. Evidence of human sacrifice.
There it is. It's plugged back in, and there it is. It's gone. I don't know if you happen to notice, in the background, there was always a little bit of light right in the center of the picture, in the far distance. That was the light at the junction of the caves that led us back to the outside.
Oh, man, you didn't leave a breadcrumb trail?
It's gone. Yeah, because we blew
the birds ate it, right? The birds ate the breadcrumbs.
The birds ate the breadcrumbs, or the cave rats, or whatever. And we burned out we popped the breaker for the electrical circuit that was feeding the lights.
Yeah, the light, yeah.
We're all the way back here in the depths of the cave.
So you had to follow that extension cord back, I guess, right?
Well, we sent my son back to do that. Jordan, bless her soul, wanted to brave on. She said, "Well, we've got the flashlights. We're not done yet. I don't want to. I still have more samples to collect." She decided to tough it out, and we ended up staying for a couple more minutes while my son grabbed the extension cord there and followed his way back to the opening.
Was the air stale? Did it smell funny? Was there like a lack of oxygen? Was there like, what was the, like, was it like a nasty basement? What sort of olfactory experience were you having?
It definitely smelled like 85% or 90% humidity, which it is.
Yeah.
One interesting thing about the caves, they are very temperature consistent. You can see our in there. It's about 54 degrees, 54, 55 degrees in there at 90% humidity.
Yeah, okay. So that's why you're seeing that mist all over the place, because anytime there's an air difference, air temperature difference, it crashes out of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
What do you call that? It doesn't condensate. It precipitates.
Either that or it's the ghosts. We weren't sure.
Well, the ghosts themselves could be lowering the temperature of the air as they go by, and they could be causing that. Because why would a light be making it colder? Because it would, in order for air to condense water out of it, it has to be colder. So why would a flashlight be like a flashlight making warm air? Why would that be causing that ghosting effect when ghosts, we know, make the air colder, right? From watching The Sixth Sense. Wow, what's that?
And that's why I'm glad you're on the show tonight, Joey, because you know all this stuff. And I would also like to do a shout out to Rook Castle, who just joined the chat.
Oh, hello, Rook.
Who was just on Joey's show yesterday. Was that yesterday?
I believe so, yes. I just want to say my next beer is from it's an Imperial IPA from Heinsberg, Vermont. And it also doesn't have any cheesy copy on it.
Well, Imperial IPAs are, they're usually stronger in alcohol and thicker.
Oh, great. So it won't pour out of it'll pour out of the can like syrup. No, but yeah, this might be my last beer with it being this big and 8%. But yes, seriously, why would a flashlight be causing water to precipitate out of the air? It's got to be ghosts.
Very well be.
Unless your breath is colder. Like what temperature is it in there?
54.
Okay. 54 degrees. So it could be breath, but breath is still warmer than 54 degrees.
Yeah, that's it's a weird phenomenon. So yeah, to answer your earlier question, Joey, what Jordan was doing there when she was bending over was picking up samples of both wood from one of the broken down kegs or one barrels, and also bits of the metal, because we weren't sure. She wanted to know if the metal bands were actually what kind of iron they were, whether they dated to the period. Did, and then what kind of wood it was, which she did identify as oak, which, as you identified at the beginning. She took samples back to Pitt University and had them do a fair amount of analysis. And they came to the conclusion that there was really very little at this point left that we could do to preserve the barrels. They were what they were. In 20 years, those will not be there anymore.
Wow. And just because you opened the cave?
Oh, it's they were deteriorating naturally. You can see how many of them are already broken down. They're already collapsing. And
but
I mean,
do you think the
thing. Should we seal it back? You know, if we sealed it back up, would that help? No. You know, we went through a lot of things, and there's really nothing, unfortunately, that we can do to preserve this history. It's just too far gone.
And we got a question from the chat by our good friend Willie Fixit. He asked if the caves were below sea level, which I think is a really good question.
No, they most certainly aren't. The caves are dug back into a hillside.
Yeah, let me show you that hillside. I finally found out how to rotate this. So let's just go back to this really quick, the Google Earth thing. I want to just show you. So if we go back here, can you see that now? Can you see the Google Earth now? Can you see that?
Yeah, no, we see it. Actually, it's not. I don't see it on the big.
So the hillside would be here, and I would guess that these tall trees would have roots going down into the cave, would they not?
Yes. There is a fair amount of root infiltration. There is.
And look, there seems to be in Minecraft you'd call that a chunk border, but it looks like this is part of the cave that was cut out for this. Looks like a parking lot. They blasted this out, but it looks like this hill here. See how we're up. So this whole parking lot here is on top of this hill here, and the cave starts right over here, right?
Right there.
So
that's
here's
exactly
the entrance,
right.
And then it goes in. There's this interesting staircase here. Is that an old railroad there? What is this staircase here?
It is a staircase. It's the North Hill, the Troy Hill staircase. It's used by a lot of people. It is made of railroad ties, and it connects the bottom of Troy Hill to the top of Troy Hill directly. Whereas if you were to walk up Troy Hill Road, which if you zoom out a little bit, you can see.
Oh yeah, this is a big hill right here.
So is that the underground? Is that the underground railroad?
See, look how tall this hill is. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a very, very tall hill. And the cave entrance is here. And does it kind of meander under these houses here, or does it kind of go around here? Or
I'll show you, Joey. If you look over on my screen right now, this is the direct top aerial view of the same thing. So you can see that funny looking building on the corner there. That's actually where my museum was. The funny with the rotunda lower right-hand corner. And then the brewery building is to the left of it, and that parking lot is up to the upper right of it.
Yep.
Yeah, the big parking deck. That big parking deck actually used to be a building that was part of the brewery complex.
Like where they would actually do the brewing, like in giant.
And that was the very large brewery.
Yeah.
And when I did the tour of the actual brewery, I'll show that. But let me jump ahead here to one slide if I can make it happen. Okay, there it is. So this is the parts in green down here are the actual building, and the parts in red are the tunnels. You can see that one goes the whole way up behind the parking lot, so that you can actually walk underground behind the parking lot and come out at one end of the tunnel at the far end where all that Minecraft stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, where it looks like they blasted flat that limestone chunk there.
Yeah, but what it actually was that was the side wall of the building. The old building.
Okay. So they chiseled it out and put the building there. Oh no, they probably put they flattened it.
And then they flattened the building and now it's a parking lot.
Yeah. Okay, so wait, can you zoom out from that and show the rest of the tunnel system?
Let's see.
Unless it's top secret, of course.
I can't. This diagram here really does show it. I wish I could get my mouse to go up on screen so you can see it. There are 4 main tunnels two that go straight back, and two that go kind of back and to the left, or to the right. Sorry.
So limestone. Is this fossil limestone? I mean, are there little, is it microscopic fossil limestone, or is it, can you actually see like macro sized clam shells and stuff
No,
like that?
I've never seen any sign of that.
So it's like a really, really early, like I don't know, like more than 65 million years old, probably, like shallow seabed or something like that. You know how where they grow Tabasco peppers, it's on a salt dome, where like like a salt dome literally is rising out of the ground, and they plant there and whatever, it gives a special flavor. Who knows? But but I'm guessing there's like a limestone dome. Like, have you ever asked a geologist what that was? Like why it's shaped like that and why it's rising? Like it's because it's basically a hill made of limestone that's rising out of the ground. It looks like to me.
We haven't, but if any geologists would want to come out for a visit, the beer's on us, and we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, give me a sample of that limestone too, because if I kind of pulverize a little bit, we'll see if there's like microscopic, diatoms or other microscopic life that would have had calcium carbonate as a skeleton or whatever.
And there's already people in the chat talking about making a road trip out to the brewery.
So, hell yeah, it wouldn't be too far.
So, just thought I'd mention that.
Get the VIP tour. But yeah, definitely a sample of the limestone too, because I think that would be very interesting to see what the limestone's composed of.
I'm going in tomorrow to get your other samples.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw any in any of the earlier footage, but if you watch carefully on the way back out, and I'll show the last little bit of footage that I have, because this ran a little longer than I actually expected it to. I had 15 minutes of footage, but I'm glad we stopped it and chatted about it. So we decided after 20 minutes of waiting for my son to get back or get the lights back on again, and the flashlights were starting to fade out, that we better bail before we were trying to feel our way out in total darkness.
Yeah, that's an easy way to trip and fall and cut yourself and actually get tetanus because...
Oh, yeah, and what you're seeing right here this very instant is me getting caught under one of those metal pipes. Wow. Because the GoPro stuck on my helmet actually snagged the pipe and pulled it sideways, and it fell on my back. And I had to push it up, and then I had to hold it up for Jordan to get out underneath it. So it was
dangerous.
Sort of a close escape. That's why the public is not allowed anywhere near any of these, obviously.
And why you're wearing helmets, of course.
Yeah. And this is finally making it back to...
What's all over the ground? Like there's like little wires. Is that electricity that would like old electrical copper wire on the ground? Like what's all the thin stuff on the ground? Oh no, that's your cable.
There's only one extension cord. Well, there's two actually going back there. The rest of the stuff is just junk that apparently they decided at random to go in the caves back in the Prohibition days. Could be.
Oh, so during Prohibition they sealed. That's when they sealed it off, during Prohibition.
Well, yeah, because it shut down, and obviously they weren't brewing beer there anymore. And they tried to use the building for a couple other commercial projects. It was a granary and a couple other things. And then I guess eventually they just threw all their renovation debris in there until it finally shut down completely in the 1950s and ran down to nothing in the 1980s. Like I said, when I do the actual brewery tour as opposed to the cave tour, I'll show some of that history. We've got some pictures of that building as recently as 1985. The brewery had no windows. It was completely covered with... It was just a total mess.
Well, in a way, like IBC, the independent brewing company that makes that root beer that, obviously nobody drinks soda with sugar in it anymore, but they were able to transition from prohibition into making soft drinks. And it's almost fortunate that this brewery didn't, because now you've got this awesome museum / brewery that you own. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool. Because if it had stayed in business, you wouldn't have been able to see all this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Cosmic Grandpa also has, but he also has a computer museum, and I can't wait to. I don't know if I'm gonna wait for COVID to end before I do any flying, but I can't wait to see both of those, because
I'm really not flying till terrorism ends, because I am so tired of taking my shoes off. Going to be a very different world. No, self-driving cars. I'll just get in the car and sleep until I get wherever I go. And
that's why you just don't wear shoes. But most places, no shoes, no shirt, no mask, no service.
No, some people have really gross, lower appendages, and so I believe that everybody should wear shoes, so that the people that are gross don't have to make anyone watch that stuff. You know what I mean? Like I think we should all have decency and wear some damn shoes. Anyway.
All right. I don't know what led into that rant, but that's cool.
Well, we're talking about airplanes, and I just
I know, but I'm a surfer. I don't like to wear shoes.
What kind of piping do you currently use?
In the brewery?
Yeah.
It's all polyethylene or polypropylene hose, something like that. PTFE. That.
It would be an interesting, small experiment to use all the materials, just like a small, tiny little brew that used, metal in the barrel. Like you get a barrel, you get some cooper to make a barrel, because coopers are hard up for work these days. So you coop up a barrel, and then you put that bolt through it, and then you run the beer through wrought iron, which is also hard to come by, but also it's good work for a blacksmith or a founder, because they're hard up for work too. So just make a miniature example, you know what I mean, and just see if it would affect the taste to have all that metal in there. You know what I mean? Because I'll bet you get a much purer flavor with poly whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm sure you're using food grade, obviously, but it probably imparts no flavor whatsoever. But it'd be interesting just to do a small experiment, a super small batch that you could sell there, obviously obeying the food and drug the FDA rules, but try to make a small ultra small batch of trying to mimic exactly what they were doing 100 years ago.
Yeah, we have a small batch system, and we enjoy doing that stuff. Norm, I don't know if it's showing up. Everybody probably just saw the whole process I went through to try and drag it up there. But there is a picture from the museum. You had asked last show.
I see it. Yeah,
they all look German. Every single one of those people look like a German.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, Joey, because
the mainframe.
That particular crowd right there happens to be the Allegheny, the Southwestern Pennsylvania BMW Owners Club. True story.
Bavarian Motorworks is what BMW stands for those who don't own the chat.
And they make Porsches in Stuttgart, just so you know. But
no, Porsche is made by Volkswagen, I thought.
But they still make them in Stuttgart.
Oh, Stuttgart. I don't know.
Stuttgart. But that is so amazing. That is amazing. That is hilarious. But they really do look German. They straight up look like Germans. No offense whatsoever. Funny. I'm German myself, but I don't quite look that German.
Yeah, that's.
So that was your computer museum. That is really cool. So what am I looking at? What's behind the German with the sweatshirt on the right. There seems to be like a tall computer with some incandescent light indicators on there. What is that?
Indeed, that's a Varion 6000.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be from around 1972.
Wow, they had cool names for stuff. You know, Varion. What was the first big mainframe that was what was that called?
The Rammstein.
No, you're thinking of ENIAC.
The Whatiac?
ENIAC.
I still didn't hear the beginning. I should already know because I should know, but Variac, right?
It's actually ENIAC with
ENIAC.
an E.
Oh,
ENIAC. Okay. Yeah. That was one of the very early pioneers. There's none of that computer left.
Wow.
And then there are Univacs.
Univac is what I was thinking of. Yes, Univac.
I actually used to work for Univac. Well, they were called Unisys at the time I worked for them, but
because Unisys bought Univac. Why do I know this? Because I remember everything I read. I don't know why.
They changed into Unisys, but yeah,
right, because
they're still around today.
There's a big merger.
They're still around today. I used to work for them back doing the Y2K.
But Varion, Univac, these are such forward-looking names, like jetpack, like atomic jetpack kind of names. You know, we go ahead.
I was going to say there's actually a really funny story behind that Varion there that we found it on an eBay auction.
Wow.
And the picture of it right away, we knew what it was. But it was for sale, and we had to for local pickup only in Florida, and so we bought it and we drove down to Florida in a truck. And the address that they gave us took us to an airport.
Wow!
We followed it, and it took us to an airport hangar where they repaired 727 jets.
Yeah.
And we went in there and we said, okay, we're here to pick up the computer. And the guys there said, what computer? and we said, this computer. We showed them the picture of the eBay auction. And they said, oh, you mean the jet airplane test engine?
Wow.
They didn't even know it was a computer. They thought of it as an airplane test machine.
Wow. And what would they test? Like efficiency and
they would literally take a big giant 3 or 4 inch round bus harness out of this thing and take it over and plug it in to the jet engine that was in a 727 and fire it up and use it to diagnose, just like you would today with a car, where you plug the monitor and use the engine computer to time the engine.
So they must have had thousands of sensors, and for the cooling, because you have to keep the thing cool so it won't melt. So there's like cooling pumps and all kinds of crazy stuff. And wow, that's amazing. So that was totally proprietary, and that one group of people probably had that machine, made for them. Because I mean, back then you didn't just have mass-produced computers, right? Like if you sold one, you were like, sweet, we sold one. They build that, and then somebody writes the software for diagnosing that, and then they probably have a custom cable that plugs into the jet engine. That's crazy stuff. Right?
And the funniest part was these guys had probably worked on that thing for 30 years. They never knew it. They never knew it as a computer.
Wow.
Was the engine test bed. That's all it was.
Wow, that's so cool.
But you say the engine test bed, and I remember the Octane, right, the SGI, that looked like a grill of a car. And those things are the size of a refrigerator. But I remember when we got rid of our Octanes, where I was working at one time, a lot of people turned them into mini fridges.
Ooh, a mini fridge that you could make a kegerator out of.
Yeah.
That only consumes 26,000 watts.
Yeah, so. Yeah, but do you remember? But Cosmic Grandpa, do you remember the Octane by SGI?
Oh, yeah, we have one on display. We have at least one on display.
It looks like
bigger than me. Big purple machine.
But it looks like
big silver refrigerator handle in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Does it work? Did you get it working?
Yes, it runs.
How many of them work? How many of them do you have them working?
Most of the machines in this museum work. The
That is
one
cool.
that's me, I have to move out of the way so that you can see it. In the center of the screen where the ladies are standing in front of, that is an IBM System 37.
Punch card?
No, it's a regular. It's a 1970s mainframe, so it's not as old as punch card.
Do you have vacuum tubes?
Oh no, that would have been an all silicon machine. Actually, that would have been all transistor logic at that time.
What would have you used for large storage though? Tape?
Yeah, that machine had tape, and it also had discs. It had 5 megabyte drives.
Oh wow!
Wow!
About this big, if you can see my apart. Weighed several 100 pounds and had a 1 horsepower motor driving the spindle.
Wow, that's so cool! And just
So
those giant aluminum platters inside, like a hard drive with giant aluminum platters inside, right?
Yeah. When I do the tour of the museum, there are some very cool pictures to show of those. Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you ever take the case off and then put like an acrylic sort of like covering on it so you can see inside?
I've done that to a couple of my machines. We've not done that to any of the big refrigerator size machines.
No, I wouldn't do that to one of those. There's not that much, but like a hard drive would be cool to, you know what I mean? Because the hard drives have the shiny platters and everything, and really big one.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of glass display cases with stuff opened up inside.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow, computer museum, that's dope.
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to go because now.
Hey guys, I had the sound effect. It's not working for me tonight, but I hear a ship in the background.
I hear a miss. It's a mystery to me, but yeah, but we gotta get going. But it's been a pleasure. This has been a really good show. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Hell yeah. No, it's been a pleasure. Glad to be here.
Thanks, Joey, for joining us. Thanks, everyone out there in the chat that unfortunately I can't see tonight, but I wish I could, to thank personally.
And and I don't know. I'll see you guys at Zozo, but and Willie Fix It is reminding of the treasure chest, which we couldn't get working last time. Can we get that working this time?
I'll bet if you tried this time.
Are you logged into D Live as 3 Beermen?
No.
I can't get logged into D Live as anybody because it's making me prove.
Shoot. Okay. Let me see if I can release the chest. It's going to be a minute here.
Oh, so we did an hour. Did an hour, okay.
We just did an hour.
The show.
Yeah, because we don't want to cut into Zozo.
Oh, Zozo's next.
Yeah, he should be coming up right now, but I can't log into D Live under 3. I'm actually under a different account. Gosh. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Willie. I know Willie really wants a chest, but I want to say thank you to Kitty Woo.
Look at it this way, Willie. That many more lemons for next show.
Yeah, and tell you the truth, I don't think there's that many lemons in the chest, but
we'll add lemons to the chest for the next show. I'll make that up.
I want to say okay. I can't see the whole name. Okay, there's one bruiser. Joey, it doesn't show the whole name of a cat. There's a cat. But Kitty Woo donated 50 lemons. And then this Pat, I can't see the whole name.
Vicky Holyfield says, Joey must feel like this show is terribly incomplete, going only 1 hour. And yes, no, I feel like I've just been hit by a car. I'm like, wait, I want to keep going till I have a headache and feel sick.
Yeah, not even a truck, man. I would love to keep going, but I don't want to cut.
No, I understand. I understand. It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
And we have at least 50 people watching.
I'm in a unique position to have really long shows, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love your shows, Joey, and I'm sure most of the chat came over here because of you. And
well, it's a community thing. Absolutely, it's definitely a community thing. I mean, I'd have nothing without Craig. So
we love you. It was a great show yesterday afternoon. So I hope you do more Saturdays.
Yeah, I think I should. I think that's the right thing to do.
That was a fun way to spend Saturday afternoon for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be doing that next time. As long as I can write a monologue. No, whatever. I'll just do it. Okay. I'll just do it. I can't wait to hear more about this, though. And please send me, among the other samples, please send me a piece of limestone, because I definitely want to see.
Do that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try and get those. I'll try and get those out on Monday so that you have them before Thursday's show.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much.
And apparently, I missed the question by Val Kimber. And I can't scroll back that far. Great question.
I'm always here, Norm. I can scroll back pretty far. We're looking for Val Kimber.
Well, Fizzy Shik said he had a great question. Question. I don't understand that, but I can't scroll past it, past that comment. And I don't know what I'm sorry. I was actually enthralled with the video, and I didn't actually.
If you ask the question again really fast, we'll be able to do it. If not, we'll have to do it next time. Val asked about max alcohol content in beer. What is the maximum amount of alcohol you can have in a beer? Because obviously you need to distill something to get past a certain point. So yes.
Yeah, but there are breweries that cheat and they
fortify.
Freeze.
They fortify. Oh, they freeze the water out. Yes.
They freeze the water out, and that's cheating. That's not really distilled. It's that. I mean,
but there's also fortified wine, right? They fortify wine with brandy, right? But anyway, sorry. I am not an expert. You go ahead.
Freezing to take the alcohol content up is a form of distillation. If you watch last week's Moonshine, you'll know that. Yeah.
Yes. That makes sense.
The problem with the alcohol content in beer is that it's yeast, as Norm pointed out earlier, that takes in the sugars and outputs the alcohol and the CO2. And at a certain level of alcohol, the yeast can't live anymore.
Yeah, it dies.
To a certain. So what you have to get over about 15% is a special variety of yeast that is essentially alcohol resistant.
Interesting. Wow. Does it taste good though?
I don't personally think so myself.
Interesting.
It kind of kills the flavor.
So what's the maximum normal? What's the maximum normal non-cheating amount? Like when does the yeast start to suffer, and the flavor start to suffer?
If you get a yeast that can handle 15, you've got a pretty robust yeast.
Wow. Okay.
And 10 is where people typically settle for.
But that's like a wine or champagne yeast, correct? Or
yeah, the only time you try to go for higher than that is if you're making a wort that you're not going to age and turn into beer, but you're going to distill because you want the maximum amount of alcohol out. Otherwise, it's not really going to taste good.
Oh, right on. Eight is where I draw the line because if I have any more than 8, I don't remember after a certain point at all.
Yeah, that's a good tip, Joey, because 8 is. I don't drink hard alcohol.
A 6-pack of 8. A 6-pack of 8, man. You won't even remember that you cooked you thinly sliced beef and made a cheesesteak, and everybody's like, wow, you made a cheesesteak last night and you sliced it all. You sharpened a knife and then you made cheesesteak and you don't remember that at all. I was like, nope. And that was because of 8%. That was because of 8% beer. And I didn't cut myself, but I'm telling you, you got to be able to remember things or it's just not worth doing.
Yeah, we got sort of Michael and saying 12% and due diligence saying 10%, but that's what they like. I drink a 7.5 normally, or 6.5. That's
12 is great if you drink one beer. 17 is great if you drink one beer.
And sort of Michael, 17%. That's a little high. Yeah, but I understand. I get the joke. Yeah, 17%.
I get it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I get it now. All right.
It's like,
that actually seems like a great note to bow out on. So, Joey, you want to give us a piano outro tonight, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, I try. Obviously, you couldn't hear it, but
it wasn't working. But
that's right.
He can't get his piano working, but
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, and due diligence is calling me. Hold on.
Thanks.
Hold on. Wait, Floyd
Who
wants to say
doesn't
something.
realize we don't have the tech?
Wait, hold on. Can you hear him?
Yes, we do have the tech.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Hold on. I can't hear you, but I think they can hear you. What does due diligence want to say?
Hey guys, I gotta admit, Joey, I love what you said. Cosmic Grandpa, absolutely love the show today. But the fun part is this: if you don't have one of those nights where you can knock down to 10% ABV or higher on a beer, you're just not having fun.
Okay,
well, like I said, if you drink a 6-pack of 8, that's all that a human should be able to take. But like 1 or 2,
But
one or
Joey,
2, 10%.
right. There are times where you can drink one of those, make yourself the most cheesesteak sandwich ever, not cut yourself and still not remember it. Those are things interesting times, and yes, I do have slight memory of doing such, especially when I was living in the barracks, cooking meals for my fellow soldiers and stuff like that, and they had absolutely no idea that I was completely tossed off the rocks. But I do appreciate this, gentleman, and Cosmic Grandpa. I definitely taste some of those brews that you're drinking right about now.
Ooh, look, that's awesome. Appreciate having you here. You're going to be our next week, right?
Yeah. And we're going to talk about what we're talking about with the ABV next week with you.
Oh, sweet.
We've already decided. We've already decided. Okay.
All right. So next week when I'm on with you guys, we're talking about ABV. All right. Perfect.
All right.
Woo-hoo.
Cool.
All right.
We gotta end the show to get Zozo dude on. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting to walk this thing down as well. So,
yeah, he's running late, and that's the only reason why we're doing this. But
7:10. So all right, let me jump off here, guys. Have a wonderful night. We can drink because we still got to watch Zoso, dude. We got to give our brother Zoso as much support as possible.
Yes,
and
sir.
Joey, by the way, I recently started watching you, but I love your content, brother.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
So with that, I'm going to say this. Gentlemen, have a wonderful night. I salute you all. And we'll talk to you very, very soon. Okay?
All right.
All right. Enjoy your beer.
Good night. Now you guys got to do your sign off.
We have a vision going on right about now, so I'm preaching for the win.
All right. Cool. All right. Good night. Good talking to you. Bye.
So what's your standard sign off? Because then people if you do your sign off, then people cannot keep you any longer.
Okay. Well, I used to say enjoy your beer, and yeah, I'm glad. But I'm glad Floyd called, and
me too. That was a great call.
He's got to be on. He's got to be on the next show.
Yeah, so. I can't wait. He seems like a very nice guy.
Yeah, and that's due diligence on Foxhole, and he just gave like 100 lemons, so that's cool.
Due diligence is on Foxhole. Okay, I will immediately subscribe.
And he's on DLive and YouTube and all that, all the same stuff.
Excellent.
So that's
due diligence,
and that was Floyd, right there. So he's going to be on the next show. He's going to be the next honorary beer man. And we're going to talk about ABV a lot of other geeky beer stuff, I guess, and local breweries. So
Next
cool.
show is yours. Next show is yours, Norm. So that's what we're talking about. You bet.
Yeah, no, me and due diligence are talking about that. We want to talk about like local breweries and how we'll talk. I'll talk to you offline about it, but I don't want to give too much away. The spoiler.
Colors, absolutely.
So, but thank you, Joey, very much for being on.
You
the
betcha.
show.
You betcha. It's been a pleasure.
It was a fun show tonight.
Definitely.
All right, guys, I'm gonna pull the stream plug. Then it's been fun. See you guys over on the ship.
Yeah,
All right.
on the mystery ship.
And God bless.